Hi, everyone. I'm Mike Handcock, the chairman of the Circle of Excellence group of companies, and I am very excited to be talking to you about my series of 3 novels that are launching on November the 8th in 2023. It's called the David Clarke series. They're action-adventure novels, and they're based on ancient wisdom and topical things that are happening on the planet at the moment. And today I'm going to take you a little bit through what's happening in the first novel, Truthseekers. There it is right there. Hang on. There we go. Okay, so Truthseekers itself is really about a concept of a person, David Clarke, who sells his business, cashes up, has a whole stack of money, and then from that whole stack of money, he is actually able to put together this business called Truthseekers with his business partner, Rocco Risotto. Now, strange things happen because strange things are at play. In fact, the 13 families that control the world, and boy, hasn't that been topical of recent years, come together and they're secretly looking for something that we call the Hooked X. Now, the Hooked X, and I took this photograph, was taken at Angkor Wat in Cambodia, which is one of the feature sites in the book. And this Hooked X is all about the mystery behind whether Jesus had a bloodline or not. So essentially, the X itself was the X representing the man, and then also the little hook on it became the child. So it was the man, the woman, and the child. Now, this figure is on Templar sites around the world, but it is also in Angkor Wat in Cambodia. So that's essentially where our story starts. Now, I'm talking about the first book, Truthseekers, in the David Clarke series. They're all coming out and they're all available on November 11th. But this story is not only about the people who control the world and who are trying to find the bloodline of Jesus, but it also wraps in with a couple of other interesting things that are going on in the world. So this is taken in Crete at the Minoan civilization, the Temple of Minos there. And you are looking at what I'm pointing to is the tripartite shrine, which is this thing that binds everything together in this book and the thing that people are looking for. So be concerned and worried about that because it's coming right at you with a lot of twists in this book. Now, the Minoan civilization pretty much disappeared around 1500 BC, but they were known to have built ships and traded all around the world. And in fact, we'll visit some of their journey with the Templars and how they connect in North America, where the Minoans, prior to many thousands of years before the Templars were on the scene, actually went up into North America, sailed all the way from Crete, and started mining in around the Lake Superior area. There are a lot of American Indians up there with DNA that will lead right back to the Greek DNA and the Minoan DNA. So that's what the Templars went looking for. That's why you watch The Curse of Oak Island on the History Channel, because that locks in as well. And I'm going to bring all of that together in David and Rocco's chase to understand and find out what it is that these 13 families are looking for. And on that journey, they meet the beautiful but very dangerous, I have to say, Abby Beck, somebody who has had a background in the military and somebody who is able to get them out of some pretty cool situations that they find themselves into. Now, as I said, the series isn't available until November the 8th, but if you do want to grab a snapshot of this QR code or go and check it out, or go to Kindle and type in my name, Mike Handcock with a D, and type in the David Clarke series, or you could search Truthseekers, you will find the first book. Now, as I said before, the Minoans went up into America around about 3,500 years ago, and they were mining up there, and they brought those minerals back to Greece. And that became pretty profound because the Indians up there do have some Minoan DNA. Now, the Minoan civilization itself was wiped out by the eruption of Santorini, which the many say is the explosion that blew Atlantis off the planet, and a tidal wave that was created by that eruption came all the way to Crete, which is about 80 kilometers from Santorini, and literally wiped out the Minoan civilization in a series of waves. They all live near the coast. It also is the introduction to the second book in the series, KV55, but we'll get to that in a separate video. When David and Abby go into America during this book, they come across the Council of the Elders of Indians. And in that Council of the Elders, they find out about the Hopi prophecy. Now, this was taken a few years ago when I was researching this book, and Lundy and I were on Hopi lands. And what you're seeing above there is called Prophecy Rock. Now, you can go and Google Hopi prophecy and Prophecy Rock. It's a prophecy of end times and a decision that this generation of people right now on the planet needs to make. It was carved many, many moons ago, but at the end of the carving there, you will see that we have a choice to return to our roots and live happy, long lives, or to continue on the journey that we've been continuing on and to really wither and die. And that's what the Hopis are saying about the human race. So we've got people trying to control the world. We've got a search for the bloodline of Jesus, which is obviously huge. We've got the Minoans and how they interact with that. And we've also got deep ancient wisdom there in terms of the Hopi prophecy also. But just to add to the mix is the whole concept of, did Jesus have a child and who was Jesus? Now, this photo here is of me in Jerusalem. It was my 111th country that I'd visited, so that's what the sign I'm holding there. But in Jerusalem, there was found, and a great book was written many years ago, found a tomb called the Telpiot tomb. And we dig into the Telpiot tomb in Truthseekers, the novel, because inside of that tomb, they found an ossuary, which is a small box, like a small funeral box, which normally has bones in it. And it was in a tomb, and it said, Jesus, son of Joseph, brother of James. Now, that's pretty fascinating because Jesus did have a brother called James, and his father was named Joseph. Now, you might think that that's fairly regular names in the 1st century AD, but given that there were only around 100 million people on the planet at that stage, and very, very few, only probably a few more than 10,000 in Jerusalem at that stage, to have that link up of names, the statistics by Nova Scotia University is something like a 0.2% chance that it wasn't Jesus in that tomb. So I'm not sure what your beliefs are, and I'm not here to rattle them. This is simply a novel, and part of this novel is to get you thinking about what's happened in history, or her story, depending on who the victor is, and how that really works in terms of today. So when David and Abby and Rocco go on their venture, which takes them all the way from Angkor Wat into South Africa and then into America, and obviously to the Minoan civilization as well in Crete, it's all about the chase to see who or what is Jesus' bloodline, and does Jesus have a bloodline, and how does that work with the people who are literally trying to take over the world right at the moment. So that's what I've got to say about Truthseekers. I think you'll find it a fascinating read. If you love alternative history, if you love a little bit of conspiracy, if you love seeing the way things really work on this world, and you can decide which is true and which is not true from reading the novel, then this is definitely a book that you should grab. Now, Truthseekers is out now. The balance of the series comes out on November the 8th this year. So get in line. Go and purchase all 3 of these. I'm going to be talking about the other 2 and digging into this a little bit more in another series of videos. For now, I will catch you later. Bye-bye.